Good evening. My name is Delisha Perkins, and I'm a senior at McKinley Technology High School in the field of biotech. And my project today will consist of the pandemic, and I conducted a test um, about adolescents' stress levels during the pandemic. And the main reason I wanted to do this was because that as an adolescent myself, I was someone who suffered with mental health and primarily stress during the pandemic, before and during. And so COVID-19 did play a role in a lot of adolescent stress levels increasing due to the restrictions and quarantine. The study will conduct the study consisted of a test to see if participating in new hobbies will help with reducing stress levels. This study helped analyze how effective hobbies were for adolescents through the pandemic, and it also allowed adolescents to find a way to cope during the pandemic while still doing something that interests them, which is really important because a lot of people lack trying to find motivation and positivity during the pandemic. So participating in these hobbies and interests was a way to help them reduce their stress levels. So I asked 27 adolescents to participate in the study. They took a survey that consisted of questions to help me analyze their stress levels before the pandemic and uh, after the pandemic. And so the results from that showed that there was chances of, well, at the start of the pandemic, the chances that they were likely to be stressed were low, as seen in Figure 1 that shows the stress before and during the pandemic. The t-test was used to confirm that there was a little less than 1% chance that adolescents were stressed during the pandemic because of nothing. So the hobbies did show that it was helping them with reducing their stress levels. And so the adolescents were more likely to be stressed during the pandemic than before the pandemic, as also shown in the Figure 1. Prior, their stress levels were around the average of 4 to 4.5. And then once the pandemic came, their stress levels did increase dramatically to around 7 to 7.8. And the main cause of that was because of the pandemic that affected everyone, that resulted to the P test being 0.000138788 chance of them being more stressed. This showed that the observed difference between the participants' stress before and during the pandemic were statistically different because, as you can see, prior to COVID-19, stress levels weren't as high, they were low, again, 4.5. And once the pandemic came, they increased to around 7 to 7.8. So, more research does need to be gathered in order to confirm that hobbies were the absolute reasoning for adolescents keeping their stress levels low, or if it could have played a role in increasing them. It's really important that we understand what works for one adolescent does not work for all adolescents. So if a group of kids listen to music to help reduce stress, that doesn't mean that it will also work for another group of kids. So it's good to keep in mind that every child is different. And so for the sources that help during this research include Hedgepath 2020, Klein 2020, Cohen et al. 1983, and Brown. And for my acknowledgments, I would like to thank Dr. Schuster for helping me during this project. Um, and thank you, judges, for watching, and let me know if you have any questions.